Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Ben. Well, the first trailer for the new Han Solo movie just dropped and I must say it looks pretty promising. It has a bit of a Blade Runner vibe, so let's go through and break it down. Now there will be a few potential spoilers in this video, but it's mostly speculation. Disney's CEO has said earlier that the movie will cover Han's life from age 18 to 24. It'll deal with how he got his name, how he met Chewie, and how he acquired the Millennium Falcon. We know he won the ship from Lando, but the details are perhaps a bit vague. Anyway, let's get started. We start with a few shots of what I am guessing is Han's hand firing up the controls of the Millennium Falcon. Although these shots are close-ups, I'm guessing it's Han because his jacket is the same color as the jacket we see him wearing later on in the trailer, and you see this 4-stick throttle lever that we see in the trailer too, so we know it's the Falcon. So I'm guessing this could be Han trying out the Falcon for the first time after winning it from Lando. We now see Han speeding through the streets of what I am assuming is his home planet of Corellia. We catch a brief glimpse of Han's lucky dice hanging from the windshield of his speeder. We see these dice in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope and again in The Last Jedi. They are the dice he used to win the Falcon from Lando in a game of Spike. We see a few more shots of Han being chased, with a voiceover of Han explaining he was kicked out of the Flight Academy for having a mind of his own. He is of course referring to the Imperial Academy. We see Han interviewing for a place at the Academy in the teaser trailer that came out a few days before this one. At this time, not everyone really knew that the Empire was evil. Remember, even Luke was discussing joining the Academy with Owen Lars on Tatooine in A New Hope. We then have a snowy mountain shot that was obviously only in the movie so it could be used in the trailer. Perhaps this is just after Han has been kicked out of the Academy and he's still determined to be a pilot. We then get a shot of the interior of the Millennium Falcon looking like an Apple store, and Han staring up admiring the ship, probably either after he won it or when it's still owned by Lando. We then hear Woody Harrelson's character in this desert area saying to Han, "Hey kid, I'm putting together a crew." We know Harrelson's character, called Beckett, will be a mentor to Solo and get him into the smuggling trade.
I play a guy named Beckett who's kind of a criminal and a mentor to Han. That's all I can say.
That's it. That's all you can say.
Yeah,
Similar to the character Gareth Shrike, who raised Han on Corellia in Star Wars Legends. However, it looks like Han doesn't meet his mentor on his homeworld of Corellia, since the landscape is an arid desert by the sea, with mountains in the background, possibly the same mountains we saw previously. Corellia has a temperate climate of forests and jungle. We then see shots of the characters in Beckett's team. Kira, played by Emily Clark, a new character we know nothing about. Lando, played by Donald Glover. Uhura, just kidding, she's called Val. And this small furry creature. This raccoon went down so well in Guardians of the Galaxy, I guess they chose to throw in a small rodent type thing as well. After a brief shot of Han standing in a bar of some sort, we are back to the snowy mountains where Han and Chewie agree to be in Beckett's team.
You in?
That's yes.
This shows Han already knew Chewie, probably through saving his life, since that's the story in Legends, before he joined the team. This part also establishes that Han understands the language of the Wookiees, and there must be some reason for this. In Legends, it was because Han was looked after by a female Wookiee on Corellia who treated him as her own son. We then see Lando and his co-pilot, this droid, in the Falcon. This alien bar of some sort, probably not somewhere like Tatooine, it looks too rich, more likely one of the core worlds. Is this woman dancing with a floating bob in a jar? There are some Twi'lek girls in the background here too, so maybe this is somewhere in Hutt space? Hutts did enslave many Twi'leks, and we know Han had dealing with the Hutts, especially Jabba. The movie will hopefully cover how he met Jabba. Come to think of it, could this be a Hutt sail barge? We do see a droid appearing to be serving drinks just like R2-D2 was forced to do in Return of the Jedi on Jabba's sail barge. We see Kira in this room too, so this is probably on one of their missions for Beckett. We then get lines from her saying, "I might be the only person who knows what you really are." This is interesting. It's not who, but what he really is. It suggests Han is abnormal in some way. Is he Force sensitive? We've often wondered this in the past. Even though Han didn't believe in the Force at first in A New Hope, he explains it all as luck. That would be a cool twist. We now have Han preparing to shoot first. Come on Disney, you know you have to make some kind of a joke out of that. We then see these tribal-looking people in masks in the same seaside area, and after Kira has said her line about what Han really is, he replies cockily, "What's that?" as if he doesn't even believe it himself. After the title of the movie is displayed on the screen, we see this sequence in which the Falcon is fleeing from TIE fighters launched from an Imperial Star Destroyer, with Han at the helm. We get to see that the movie does feature the Falcon's original paint job of blue and white, and we also get to see the front fork area for lifting cargo containers is filled in, or perhaps originally had a retractable cover. In the next shot, we see that the Falcon also has an upward-facing satellite dish instead of the forward-facing one we see in the original movies. Perhaps it can be moved into different positions, or it was one of the special modifications that Han made later on. Probably safe to say the ship is still Lando's at this point, since the lucky dice are not hanging above the cockpit door as they were in A New Hope. Oh, and one last thing, Han has to dodge these very mean-looking giant tentacle things, and since they're in space, I'm guessing they are Purrgil, hyperspace traveling whales that were introduced in some of the Star Wars cartoons. This is the first time we will have seen them in a live-action movie. Okay guys, well that's my walk through the trailer. So far it looks like we see a bit of Han's misguided youth on Corellia, taking chicks on joyrides. He then joins the academy, gets kicked out and dumped on this mountainous world, duels with the locals, perhaps saves Chewie from slavery there, then meets Beckett, joins his team and goes on adventures with them in Lando's ship the Falcon that he eventually wins, and all the while harbors some secret about his origins that he doesn't even really admit himself, but Kira can suss out. Well, that's just me imagining. I'm sure it doesn't play out exactly like that, but those are a few ideas for what may happen in this movie. Leave your ideas of what might happen or what would be cool if it did happen in the comments section below. As always, if you're new, please subscribe, give this video a like, and if you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.